You are a high-ranking law enforcement official in the state of Minnesota, right?
I would say, let me put it like this. I'd say I'm Minnesota's chief law officer.
Okay. The reason I ask, in movies when police are without a vehicle and they stop people on the street and they say, police business, I need to take your vehicle.
Right.
I was thinking you and I could do that. We could commandeer someone's bicycle because you are a high-ranking law enforcement official. Do you think we could do that?
This is a real thing. Real thing. None of you have the balls to stop this. Stop this.
I've got plenty of time. I have nothing else going on today.
We're in the Wedge neighborhood right now.
We are live at Open Streets on Lyndale Avenue in Minneapolis for the Wedge Live podcast. I'm your host, John Edwards. Special guest today is Attorney General Keith Ellison.
Open Streets, baby. How you guys doing? Good to see you.
Thank you for being here.
Oh yeah, it's a real pleasure, man. I love Open Streets, so glad to be here with you.
Do you have special Lyndale Avenue memories? As just a person of Minneapolis, what do you look back on in your life that happened on Lyndale Avenue?
I think I got so many memories of Lyndale Avenue that it's hard to narrow down to one.
Where do they happen?
So I live a block from North Lyndale Avenue North.
Right.
So that's where I live there, and the mosque I go to is on there. I used to go to a Target that was there, then it moved. Now I go to a Cub that's there. So I raised my kids there. My kids used to play sports at Fairview Park, which is on Lyndale Avenue, Fairview, not too far from Fairview. My good friend used to have a church on that street. A guy named Jerry McPhee used to run a church right there, and his church now is a block off there. And even here in South Minneapolis, where we are now, there's a pizza joint I love to go to here. There's just food up and down the street. And I've lived my adult life on this street, right? Whether it's been raising kids, going jogging myself, riding my bicycle, going to restaurants, going to movies and films, going to Bryant Lake Bowl. It's not on Lyndale, but you got to go down Lyndale to get there from my house. It's just I could write an autobiography wrapped around Lyndale Avenue.
Okay. Can you pander to the bike walk transit community here as Attorney General? Is there anything in your power you can do as Attorney General for people who are out here, bicycle enthusiasts, pedestrians? Is that a thing?
It is a thing, but can I acknowledge this agua de Jamaica that I just got from Aurelia's Mexican?
It's so hot.
So, I'm just saying, shop on Lyndale, y'all. Anyway, back to the bike lane thing.
Pander to the alternative transportation community. Can you do that?
Well, first of all, hey man, good to see you. Hey, thumbs up to the biking community, right?
Bike patrol.
Bike patrol, I love it. But I'm talking to Wedge Live right here, and I'm giving you a shout out. There you go.
You pandered to Dan Engelhardt.
Why not?
Are you a representative of the bicycle community, Dan?
I believe so.
For now.
Okay, you did it. You satisfied my question.
There you go. but let me tell you. Oh, hey, Haley. But I was just going to say to the Wedge Live folks, look, we cannot build enough roads. We've got to have more alternative ways of getting around. The objective of our transportation system should be to move people, not cars. And so I am a strong believer and supporter of our alternative transportation like bicycling. I bicycle myself, I love it. That's kind of how I feel about it. I'm glad we made these investments. I think we should make them in a conversation with motorists, pedestrians, public transportation, and bicyclists. It should be an interactive thing where we can try to meet the needs of all, but at the end of the day, I remember visiting Amsterdam in the Netherlands, and boy, they get around on bicycles. I will say to everybody in Portland, even though y'all got more warm weather than us, I think we've beaten y'all in terms of the bike lane, so that's it.
Portland, if you are watching the Wedge Neighborhood's Top podcast, that's a message directly to you. What's your favorite, short answer here, what's your favorite new bike or walk infrastructure in Minneapolis that's been added in your neck of the woods?
Well, you've given me new, so I don't know how new it is, but I do love to go from my house to the Mississippi, ride that trail all the way down, either to like the Brooklyn Park, Brooklyn Center, or the other way to Minnehaha Creek. So I think so. That's, and then they got a new underpass. From Plymouth Avenue, you can ride the trails up and down there, so that's pretty new. So that's awesome.
You mentioned raising your family here, and
Yeah.
I'm pretty familiar with one of your children, and that's Jeremiah Ellison.
Oh yeah.
I always thought I think he served 8 years. Am I correct? 8 years on the city council.
Yeah, he was 8 years there.
Grizzled veteran by the end. Started out as a young guy, grizzled veteran. I found him to be like the most persuasive speaker. He had a good way of making his case, and it wasn't targeted necessarily at like fire and Brit. He had a reputation as like fiery activist.
Yeah.
But I always found him to be like really measured and intellectual.
Yeah.
And I wonder if all of your children are super good arguers, or if it's just him.
Well, my daughter is the best arguer in the house. Her name is Amira. She's the youngest one.
She learned from all of you.
And if you want to debate her, you better bring a lunch, because that kid knows how to pull an argument out of her back pocket.
Is Amira in politics?
Amira is a union side labor lawyer in Los Angeles. She graduated from the University of Minnesota about a couple of years ago. She is Jeremiah's younger sister. But now I do have a son who's very persuasive in his own way. His name's Elijah, and he is a nurse at Hennepin County Medical Center. And he is a man of few words, but they're all impactful. And then my oldest son is Isaiah Ellison. He's a Hennepin County assistant prosecutor, does adult felonies, trying to protect the public, and so he argues for a living. You know,
You've really spread your children out among the professions.
you know what? I tell you, man, as a father of four, you really, your kid, you don't shape your kids. They are who they are, and you can mess them up, but you can't really, you gotta basically get out. You gotta give them enough guidance to get them to the place where they can find themselves.
Okay, so you can ruin them, but you can't take credit for their glory.
Not really. I mean, you can, but you know secretly, I didn't teach that kid. So like Jeremiah is an accomplished artist, right? And I can't draw a straight line or a circle. I mean,
I always think of him as he's kind of got like a lawyer's way of making a case, I think.
yeah, I mean, look, if Jeremiah wanted to be a lawyer, he could be a great one. And he's only 34, so he could be one if he wants. He's still a pretty young guy.
Still only 34?
He started young, man. Started young,
I
but
can't correct you on your son's age, but
maybe he's 35. He might have had a birthday.
Okay. I hope you didn't mess that up.
It is possible,
Okay.
but I
thought he
don't
was
think
late
so.
30s.
No, that'd be. I got a kid older than him, who I know is not 40 or 39. So, my oldest child is 38.
All right.
So Jeremiah is younger than him.
We'll be correcting you on the screen with the actual ages. When
Well, I
this
wouldn't be
episode is
surprised if they
edited
call in
together.
and say, "Hey, Dad, how the hell did you forget my birthday?" Which could happen. I have called them by different names their whole lives.
Let's talk about prosecuting federal agents, and maybe we
Yeah.
shouldn't talk about specific cases.
We can.
But it felt as though
I'm game.
it was a real long shot when Alex Preddy killed and Renee Good were killed.
It's
and
not.
And the federal government was like going to obstruct, and it felt like
They
they
are.
have all the power to obstruct. Like, what obstacles have we overcome, and what obstacles are remaining? And like,
I'm so glad you asked me this, because I want everybody watching to know that there is no legal barrier to prosecute anyone who commits a crime in the state of Minnesota. You being a federal agent does not give you immunity. Hey, what up, what up, what up? Does not, love you too now. Does not give you the right to commit a crime in the state of Minnesota. There is no absolute immunity. When the vice president said that, he was absolutely wrong. Now, there is a limited immunity based on something called the Supremacy Clause in the Constitution, which says that in those limited and enumerated things that the federal government has a right to do, then in that area there is a limited immunity. And basically, when and if we charge those federal agents, and we are working on it every single day to do our investigation, then in that case, they will be able to file a motion to move the case to federal court, but will keep state prosecutors, keep state law, keep state jury. What'll happen is that they can say, I was doing my job and I was doing what was necessary and proper to do my job. And at that point, the court will say, yes, you were, no, or arguably you were not, and we're gonna leave it up to a jury. And so what that means is that the agent is gonna have to convince a jury that shooting a woman driving away from you, including multiple times, including the last time when he shot through the side window, through her ear, out her other one, that was necessary and proper. And they're gonna have to show that shooting Alex Preddy after they disarmed him 10 times was necessary and proper. So that's their burden to carry, and we'll see if they can do it.
So when we were really in the thick of it with ICE and the federal occupation, it seemed like state and local government kind of wasn't up to the task of protecting people in a way that people expect.
I hear you.
Like you expect, if I'm in danger, if my family and my friends are in danger, the police can show up and do something about it. Or
Thank you, brother. You got it, my man.
you call your council member, you get on the phone with the mayor and say, hey, this is wrong. But like standing up to the federal government, very difficult, it turns out. Are we more resilient now? Are we better prepared? Because it feels like maybe this isn't the last go-round. We still have 2+ years left of the Trump administration. Are we more resilient in standing up to the federal government, whether it has to do with secret police tactics or whatever the case may be? And if we're not resilient, like, what do we need to do?
Well, let me just say this. What I'm gonna say to some ears could sound like excuse making, but it really is just truth telling. There's not one single state government, one single municipal government in America that has experience with dealing with violent paramilitaries descending upon and attacking their states. There simply is no prior experience with this. We got to remember that Operation Metro Surge was the single largest deployment of paramilitary immigration agents in the history of the United States, ever. And so I think it is fair to say state and local police and sheriffs and others should have done X, Y, or Z. But I hope people can also see how when an officer is a municipal or state officer is watching these people act this way, there's no playbook for this, right? There's no playbook for it, and the possibility of an armed confrontation between local and state officers and the federal government was a very real possibility if it would have gone down that way. And there was an incident, I think it was outside of St. James or St. Peter, where such a confrontation sort of almost could have happened. Right. Because the local authorities went and basically said, hey, you got to release that woman, and thankfully they did, but at the end of the day, that was a dicey moment. So what I'm saying to you is, we did what we know we can do. We sued them. I sued them. The city of Minneapolis, the city of St. Paul sued them. We used legal authorities, private nonprofits like ACLU sued for the right to protest. And so we did what we knew what we could do, but there were a whole lot of things that were simply not in our body of experience. So like right now, I think we are thinking, what can we do? What's possible? What's not possible? We did learn that the federal government will kill you. We learned that. Not once, twice, and maybe even 3 times, because we did charge, Hennepin County and the AG's office did charge Christian Castro for shooting Julio Sosa Solis. We did charge that case. That case is charged. And there's another individual charged for waving a gun in a road rage incident. But if it's in the legal system, we kind of get that. If it's the right First Amendment protected activity, we get that. But facing a paramilitary organization willing to do harm and proving it's willing to do harm is sort of new.
There's something great about the way we forced the federal government to withdraw. Something really great about the fact that it was the people in the streets, not government. It was the people, but also it makes you think, like, can we sue them faster? Is there a way to sue them faster? Because I wonder, like, if the politics and the people hadn't forced the issue in the streets, would we still be dealing with it right now? Like, would the lawsuits not have been enough to have protected us?
Let me tell you, man, this is a very important question you're asking me, because it goes down to who and where does real power reside in American politics. And I would tell you the power started with the people and still with the people ultimately. We might sometimes think the power is with the politicians. It's actually not. I am. Yeah, how you doing?
You did great this January.
Thanks a lot. Take care, bro. And so let me just say that again. I think so. So the legal. So you said about suing fast enough. The legal system is moving the way the legal system moves. The first thing we did is we moved for a TRO. That's a temporary restraining order. The court denied it. The court denied it, even though the court acknowledged that we were kind of really right about a lot of things. And hey, how are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm with Amnesty International. We're putting a special effort on Georgia Fort.
Yeah. Did you know we were right in the middle of an interview? Can I talk to you right afterwards? So let's get. Now, where were we again?
Lawsuits. Can you sue faster?
Lawsuits not faster.
TRO.
The lawsuits were going. The lawsuit is proceeding at the pace that lawsuits proceed at. But we did seek emergency relief with the TRO. That was not denied, even though our argument was that the federal government is denying our 10th Amendment rights to equal sovereignty as a state, and they're doing it through coercive, violent military means, paramilitary means, and it is coercive because they're saying, we got a letter from Pam Bondi which said, give us your voting rolls and other things, and maybe we'll stop the chaos, right? And so that's kind of what happened right there. And she was highly sympathetic, but again, she's like, I'm looking for precedent to make a ruling, and there really was none. So you got to go back to like Civil War era to get to the bottom of what we just went through and what we're going through as a country, because your questions are spot on. The point is, our country is set up to deal with problems through First Amendment activity, freedom of the press, freedom of faith, freedom of free expression, redress grievances, things like that. Our legal system, civil redress, file a lawsuit, but we don't have any means to say if the federal government is pointing guns in your face, like 3,000 guns in your face, maybe 3,500 guns in your face, what do you do then? Because that's what happened, right? We started out remember, Operation Metro Surge begins December 3rd and ends February 12th. In early January, because of the First Amendment activity, they go from the 500 plus to an extra 1,000, then an extra 1,000, then an extra 1,000, 3,000 by the time it's all over, and that's kind of what happened. And if I was not the AG, I'd be like, why can't we do something faster, quicker, more effective, more this, more that? But I'm like, look, folks, this is what it means. This is what tyrannical government is.
So, how much of what is owed to Minnesota by the feds? They've done a lot of like, we're not sending you this pot of money unless you do this kind of stuff. How much of that has been resolved? How much of that is still outstanding? Is that a...
Well, I'd have to check my emails this morning to tell you exactly. But I can tell you, I think we're getting just about all the money we're owed so far because we've been winning those lawsuits. So for example, they tried to take our supplemental nutrition assistance money, food stamps. We got that back turned on. They tried to take our Medicaid money. We're getting that turned back on. There might be some things that are still pending, but not for now, it's flowing. They tried to take other money, National Institute of Health money, all kinds of research money, money for farmers, money for agriculture. I mean, it's endless money for museums, all kinds of stuff. And we've been in court with them. We filed over 62 lawsuits so far, and we have gotten favorable rulings 90% of the time. The other 10, we got a few rulings that weren't good, but they were rulings on like temporary restraining orders, so we still might win that lawsuit, or they're pending. So we've been winning a lot, including the tariffs lawsuit, including one of the first ones. The first one was one of the birthright citizenship, and then the next one, and that was heard in the Supreme Court recently, and then the next one was the one on impoundment, when they tried to just stop all federal funding to everywhere, and we got that cut back on right away.
Is it correct to say you are the state of Minnesota's chief law enforcement officer? Is that a correct title?
Not exactly. You're not far off. But I'm not the top cop.
You are a high-ranking law enforcement official in the state of Minnesota, right?
I would say let me put it like this. I'd say I'm Minnesota's chief law officer.
Okay.
Now, in terms of law enforcement, that sort of implies that I'm the boss of the county attorneys, and I'm not. And if ever I think I am, they'll straighten me out in a quick hurry.
So the reason I ask, in movies when police are without a vehicle and they stop people on the street and they say, police business, I need to take your vehicle.
Right.
I was thinking you and I could do that. We could commandeer someone's bicycle because you are a high-ranking law enforcement official. Do you think we could do that?
I would advise against that because...
Well, not by violence, just simply telling them, I will ask, I have the Attorney General here, can he borrow your bicycle? And then you ride away.
Let me put it like this. If I actually had a very good reason, like I just saw a purse snatch, and then me and you could maybe go do it. But barring that, I think we should not do it.
We shouldn't do it? It was totally optional. Like I say, Keith Ellison, I won't even mention your office.
Right.
Can we keep it ethical that way?
Well,
very popular Keith Ellison here would like to ride away on your bicycle.
I think we're stuck with a legitimate, bona fide emergency. And then we better get it back to him with the least amount of scratches as possible.
Are we doing it?
I think we gotta not do that one.
Okay, we're not doing it. I thought.
But you know what? We can ask people for free handshakes all you want.
Okay, that's so boring, Keith Ellison.
I mean, we can.
You used to be so dangerous.
Yeah, on the edge, baby. But no, I think we're stuck with waves and handshakes and occasional hugs if we are appropriate with
You're
that.
really on guard for people coming after you for stuff, right? Most people would say, yes, let's do something playful. You are really on guard for someone coming to get you.
Well, when I'm out here amongst my people, which is what I am right now, I feel incredibly comfortable. But I will tell you that the level of security for a lot of people in office has gone up. Melissa Hortman was a dear friend of mine. I loved her like a sister. She was I knew her before politics. She and I had a case in 1998, and I represented this person in a case involving something, and she represented the same person in a separate civil proceeding. She actually sued the landlord of this woman and got $490,000. And this woman was living in squalor, being bullied and intimidated by her landlord. The landlord would say stuff like, girls don't have to pay rent. And she sued, and she got a lot of money and changed the life of that family. And that's how we met. And so when we both went to the state legislature, it was like, hey, I know you. But she was a fighter for justice, man. And now she's gone because of people who believe that it's okay to kill people you don't agree with.
Yeah, people impersonating police in masks.
Impersonating the police, which means that no, I would not advise you to open the door if a single officer comes to your house. I'd call 911 and say, there's an officer outside of my house, why?
It's kind of insane that conservatives don't recognize why that is bad for police, that no one can tell who the police are anymore.
Well, I would say that we have a big difference today between a conservative and a right-wing person. They're sort of not the same anymore. Conservatives used to want to conserve they wanted to conserve the family, they wanted to conserve our national debt, they wanted to our national budget, they wanted to conserve the Constitution. Trump doesn't want to conserve any of those things. Trump, do you know, our GDP is actually smaller than our national debt right now. And Trump wants to expand military spending to $1.5 trillion in the 2027 budget. And he wants to cut services to people and cut taxes to the richest people, that's what he's already done. Does that sound conservative to you? He's running a roughshod over the Constitution. Not very conservative. You want to know who a conservative is? Thomas Massey. See, a conservative and a progressive can talk. A conservative, a progressive and a fascist extremist cannot talk. So that's kind of where we're at right now.
So I'm going to let you get out of here and enjoy the rest of your Lyndale open streets. Thank you for joining me.
Well, man, let me just say, and I'm not BSing, man. I like your show. I listen to it a lot. I think it's good. And, you know, I want everybody here to support free independent media. When you got the Ellison family, no relation, buying up, you know, Skydance, CBS, Paramount, and all that, when you got that kind of media consolidation, when you got Scott Pelley saying, I'm out of here, they've ruined 60 Minutes, you can't trust the mainstream press anymore. So your show becomes extremely important as just a source of news and information for the average person.
Thank you very much. Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison is running for re-election this year. It's a very, very important election, so make sure you're voting this year. This has been the Wedge Life podcast. I'm your host, John Edwards. Thank you for listening.
Thanks, everybody.
This is a real thing. Real thing.
None of you have the balls to stop this. Stop this.
I've got plenty of time. I have nothing else going on today.
We're in the Wedge neighborhood right now.